G'day and welcome to the Investor Motivation Podcast. My name's Robert Goudie, and joining me today I've got Rachael Todman. How are you, Rach?
I'm good, Rob. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, a bit of a different
That's
format for us today. We're keen to share our screens. Why are we doing that?
Yes, just to make it probably a couple of reasons. Some people learn easier via visual or can understand information, but also so we can be a bit more specific with things that we're talking about. We acknowledge that we didn't quite get it right in regards to how much we need to retire, in the sense that we weren't specific with examples. So we heard what you all said, and yeah, we're taking that on board. So yeah, we'll be able to share our screens and work through it.
Last podcast we did, it was really, we titled it "How Much You Need," how much is enough, how much you need to retire. But it turned out to be a bit of a conversation about how many and varied the scenarios are. So I think people have come there thinking there'll be some type of answer, there'll be a number, but we just showed how opaque it is and that it's different for everyone. It's probably where we landed. And so today we want to write, not that it was wrong, but just give people more detail. And for those that are listening via the podcast, obviously we're going to be using some visuals here, but we will explain it as we go. So you do not have to go to YouTube to physically watch us, which you can do on Spotify as well. And we'll explain it as we go, but we are going to be sharing our screen so you can, for those that are watching, can follow along.
Sounds good.
Terrific.
I think a good spot to start would be some of the benchmarks that are used in Australia as a retirement standard. That really gives a bit of a base point for people. Income will vary, of course, on different lifestyles, but as a bit of a guide, we'll start with that, I think, Rob.
Okay, I'll share my screen if it allows me to do it. That's interesting. It's not quite allowing me to do it like you said, Rach.
Okay.
On one tab it is, and other tab it's not. But I'll get there either way. So there you go. You can see that, okay?
Just give me a second.
So we're looking at the AFCA standard for a comfortable income in retirement.
Yep, so I've got those figures now. Thanks, Rob. So for those that are, can see on the screen, it gives you a bit of a breakdown. This is looking at a comfortable retirement standard. They also take into account a moderate retirement as well. So we're focusing on the comfortable one today. So it's stating that for singles, you need around $52,000 per year to have a comfortable retirement. And as a couple, stating around close to $74,000 a year. So to give you a bit of a breakdown, they're sort of taking into account that you may like to travel a little bit, you may like to go out for dinner and things like that. So you're quite connected socially as well. So they're taking into account a few of those things. You may upgrade your car, every now and then as well, in comparison to those that would run a moderate lifestyle. So yeah, so that's just a bit of a guide that you can take into account. And yeah, again, depending on what your lifestyle and how you want to live your retirement.
And this is not that you own your own home. You're not renting. But with the projections we'll do in a moment, we'll throw up a whole heap of different scenarios, and we'll do renting and also home ownership. But these standards here is that you are not paying rent. Obviously, in a conversation I've had with some clients recently, and one over at Perth yesterday, that the rental market is very difficult and very expensive, and they think they were paying $750 a week, which is just a very big number.
It's huge, yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
All right, well, Rob, let's put your calculations to the test. I'll give you a couple of scenarios, if you wouldn't mind modelling them for us.
Terrific. All right, so I've just shared the screen again with you, Rach, and everyone to see what I'm up to. And I'll just bring that across in front of me, so I'm still looking at the camera in a way. And so this is our retirement projector that I've used for the last, I'm not sure how many years, but well over 10 years, and it's what I use live in front of clients to give them an idea of, do they have enough? How much do we need to save to get, prior to retirement, and what sort of income can we expect afterwards? So this is it seems like a simple Excel spreadsheet, but it takes into account Centrelink as well. That is calculated into it. It is, from an income point of view, indexation is taken into account as well. And we can see from up here the assumptions. Now, we need return assumptions. We are talking about long-term projections here. So we have a base case, and this is for the first decade. So the reason why we have a return for the first decade is that we actually go in and reforecast. So you can see here in the very fine print, we have an expectation of, based on where the markets are at now, what the average return might be for the next decade. And after that, we have another figure. So as markets go up in value, our future expected return actually goes down. So I updated that before our chat. So for the base case is 5%. For the pessimistic case, for the next decade, you get 0.9%. So that's assuming that in the next decade, there is essentially a crash, and then you spend a lot of the time trying to get back to where you were, essentially. And then there's optimistic of 7%. There's yield, there's the rate afterwards, after that decade, 5.5, inflation running at 2.8, and we've got an estimated confidence level of 90%. And what that means is there's a 90% chance you will be above the pessimistic outlook. So these are quite conservative numbers, but I think this is the way it should be done. And obviously we will plan for the worst and, of course, always hope for the best. And I've got a model portfolio 4. Do you remember the percentages on that one, Rach?
So that would be roughly around 75% in growth assets, and then, the remainder in more defensive, conservative cash and fixed interest.
Memory is better than mine. So, Rach, we've got our first example. Can you give me a bit of an outlook of what that looks like?
Yeah, so single lady, she's age 67. She's just retired. Now she is a non-homeowner, so she's renting.
Yes.
And she wants to have just the modest retirement amount, so about $45,000 per year.
Okay, but she's renting, so we've added in $35,000 as the rental cost. And of course, people that are receiving an age pension that are renting also get rent assistance. So we've assumed that the 30 grand is the net after rent assistance. Now, and so 45 grand, which is, so that's the modest, not comfortable number, Rach.
That's right. Yep.
Now, I think it's worth noting that people that rent actually receive a higher assets threshold than those that own their own home. So the assets test threshold for the age pension via Centrelink is higher when you're a renter, before your pension starts to reduce and before it cuts out. So at age 67, I've got life expectancy through to age 93 and $650,000 in, say, superannuation or investment assets now. Now, we're not having any extra spending. There is no inheritance in this scenario at all. And this is one we can factor in for another example, Rach. But let's have a look at what the numbers look like. And you can see here that we have our 3 scenarios. We have the red, which is the pessimistic, and that is seeing the money run out at age 80. So, of course, you still get the age pension, and you can see here under the base case that it's not the full pension, which is about $31,000 for a single pensioner. But as money reduces, you can notice that this line goes up to here at age 80, where that's the maximum. So this person's going to be doing it pretty tough once the money runs out. So I would prefer if they need $75,000, including their rent, they need more than $650,000. So let's change the numbers there to 925, and this is not pre-done. This is a guess. Let's see what the numbers look like. And that gets her under the base case, remembering that we're a 90% chance to be above the pessimistic. That gets her to 91. Of course, I would like the pessimistic to be running through life expectancy as well.
Yeah.
So if, again, we take it up to $1 million, it's getting a lot closer for us. One thing that I haven't done is reduce the spending on an annual basis, because as we get older, we are definitely going to spend less. So what we can do there is, and I don't always do this, but when we're going all the way through for a single person to age 93, we can say your income will go up with CPI less 1%, and that's mimicking your spending less as we age.
Yeah.
And you can see there that the pessimistic runs out around 90, and the base case, there's still a couple $100,000 in the tank. So personally, this is the number I would be aiming for if someone is thinking about, in this scenario where they're renting and they're a single person, because I acknowledge that you can see here the $31,000 is the maximum age pension for a single. The maximum for a couple together is $46,000. So single pensioners are at a significant disadvantage in my view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Like to add anything to that one, Rach, or any variations?
I guess we could do it if, so the 45,000, if it is single person and they do own their own home, just to see what difference that makes.
So let's change that around, and we go from 75 back to the 45,000, Rach.
Yep.
Yep. Now that'll be indexed to CPI, and we can see here that money's going down, but obviously flatlining. So probably left with a little bit too much in the tank that we could have spent when they were younger. So perhaps that $1 million is not quite what you need. But if we go back to the 650 where we started, again, and the reason why this one is more of a flat line, because $1 million you don't get any pension. We don't get much pension, but as a homeowner, at 650, the pension is adding in a lot to the numbers. So as you can see here, when they, $20,000 of 45 grand at around age 82 is coming from the age pension with the 25 from your own money. So potentially you could even have a little bit less. So let's see what $550,000 looks like. Yeah, and again, leaves a fair bit. This is because it's a modest income requirements.
Yeah.
Down to 450. Still a fair bit in the tank. Let's take away the reduction of indexation, CPI less 1%. Let's just have it indexing, and that looks about right based on that income needs. That doesn't take into account updating a car or anything like that, which we can add in as one-offs, which might be holidays, might be inheritance in these lines here. So owning a home, because the home is exempt, that is a help from a Centrelink point of view.
Yeah. Very good. All right. That was a good summary for that one. Okay.
Good start.
Yeah, absolutely. So next one I think we'll focus on is we'll have a couple.
Okay.
They're age 60.
They're 60. Cool. They're retiring at 60.
Sure. Why not?
Yep. Cool.
Let's do that. They want to have around 85,000 in retirement.
Fantastic. Now cool. We'll keep that at age 85 all the way through to age 83. Let's explain why I've used 83, Rach, instead of 93, because I do believe someone within the couple in this day and age, someone's going to make it through into their 90s. Can you explain why 83, please?
Yeah, so it's generally around, when one of the partners may pass away. So if we project to age 83, we've got a bit of an idea of what would be left for the remaining spouse at that time, rather than, projecting it all the way through under the assumption they're both in the room.
And that's where they go from being a age pension couple with a higher rate of pension to a single, where it's unfortunately a bit tougher.
Yeah.
So we've got $85,000 per year. I already broadly know that the number we've got there, 450, is not going to work. And we can see that is falling off a cliff very, very quickly.
Yep. Now, one thing I didn't mention is they do anticipate of getting an inheritance.
Ooh, tricky.
Yes.
Okay. Tricky. Fantastic. All right. So now they're 60 at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And
so let's say the inheritance might come in 10 years' time or thereabouts, or
yep.
Or and how much is that?
They're anticipating about 800,000 between the two.
Okay. So let's assume that all comes in 1 year, and we can see here that the system has picked that up. I'm just adjusting the tables a bit. So now the interesting thing here is that early days, obviously money runs out because they're retiring at age 60. You do not get any age pension till we hit 67. So if they want $85,000, they've got to live off their own money.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
So in this scenario, we can see that they're actually running out of money. We go into the negatives just before age pension kicks in. So if this is the case, I would prefer to see a larger amount of money when they retire at age 60, say $600,000, all the sixes. And under the pessimistic one, it really just touches on running out of money. But what this can do, Rach, is knowing that there is a future inheritance, as morbid as it sounds, but if it's a reality, instead of waiting to retire at 67, these guys have just retired at age 60, 6 or 7 years earlier, and spending down what they have built up, the 600,000, knowing that there's going to be this other money coming in.
Yeah, and 800,000 is a big number that we've popped in there, but given the value of people's homes as well, and that forming part of the estate, then it can be somewhere in the mark for a few people as a couple.
And this on this screen here that we're sharing, this is where I put in some of the anomalies where we have base living of $85,000, but each year in addition to that there is $25,000 holiday, $25,000 holiday every second year or something like that. This is where we really personalize it to the client. So in this scenario, what we're wanting to make sure at age 83, obviously I don't believe that their income need stops there. I just want to make sure that whoever is left as a single pensioner, that there is a good couple $100,000 left for them to get $31,000 from the government as an age pension as a single person, and then they can top that up for the next, with $25,000 from these funds here, whichever one it is. And as a third backstop, Rach, and I think everyone's heard me talk about the home equity access scheme, that these people own their home, that if it turned out that the pessimistic was 0, they can take out some equity from the home to see them through into their 90s.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. So that's a really interesting one. Thanks, Rach. Let's just take that away. And have you got another scenario for me, please?
Sure. Let's go age 45.
Oh, this is controversial. So retiring at
Uh,
age 45.
wow. You're letting everyone retire early, Rob. It's
Yeah.
very generous.
Well, sorry, this is your scenario. Is
Yeah.
so
So
so age
age
45.
45 now. Yeah.
Yes.
And then retirement age, say 55.
Oh, sorry, we're accumulating. We're saying, right, what do we need to save as well? Understand?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yep. Cool. And how much do they need?
So let's stick with the
Mm-hmm.
$85,000 mark.
Yep.
That'll work. And again, yeah, it's a couple homeowner.
Okay. So given that they're, say, 45 now and pension age is 22 years away. Now, I believe, despite what people say in a negative sense, that there won't be a pension. And I heard this 30 years ago when I'd go to a property spruiker seminar where they're trying to sell people property and they're trying to scare people into buying property, that, when you're pension age, there won't be an age pension there. They've been saying that for decades. But
Yes, yeah.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assume that the rules are a bit tighter, that they're not as generous, that because we're turning 22 years away, there's a lot can change. But let's assume that
Yeah.
they would get 75% of what they would be available now. That the rules have just got a bit tighter.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we can see that now these people they've paid off their home. What sort of contributions are they making, Rachel? That's probably
Yes.
what we need to determine, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're putting there that they're both maxing out their super contributions. So after the 15%, yeah, with 51,000 every year
Fantastic.
until retirement.
Good. So got $600,000 now.
Yep.
Now obviously we may need to play with these figures a bit. I just need to adjust the table, and we can see that and obviously we're going through to age 83 again because it's a couple. Yep, couples are treated so differently to a single when it comes to age pension, that we need more money. And I think it's worth noting as well that if you want to retire at age 55, this can not just be a superannuation strategy. It needs to be a strategy where there is non-superannuation money because, Rach?
Yeah, due to the access of it, you can't access it generally till 60 and above, or till you meet the condition of a release. So, yeah, you need some income between that time.
Now, obviously, we're assuming that when they retire, there is no debt. They own their own home. But
Yeah.
from here, I think at 45 with 51, something's got to give. You need to put more away or have a larger lump sum. And again, running a bit shy, and this is to age 83, so we would need more. So there might be the super contribution, and there might be $20,000 going into a non-super investment as well.
Yeah.
So we change that from 600 to 800, and now we've got $71,000 invested per year within super and outside of super. And again, I want the remaining person to have some money under the pessimistic scenario. So again, not quite enough for my liking. So what is the number at retirement? And obviously we've got ourselves to 1.7. We need, and 1 point under the pessimistic, which I'm not comfortable with, we need more.
Yeah.
So I've just changed that to 900, and this is where we're sort of working backwards.
Yeah.
I want the single person to have more than that. I know they can access their equity in their home, so under the current rules, but I think there's We've got to provide more room. So I think this is getting closer to where we'd be more comfortable, where there is a reasonable lump sum at age 83, understanding that this is the pessimistic, you'll be a 90% chance above that red line. So somewhere between 150 and 600. And of course, there's the optimistic one, which is not over the top. We know that the global shares over the Vanguard global share fund for the last 10 years has returned 12.5%, and over a long period of time, that has a massive difference in terms of how long our money's going to last. So this is obviously a growth orientated one, using conservative numbers based on where the market's at. And the beauty of this, Rach, just before I go on, if we do exceedingly better, guess what we can do? We can adjust the spending. So if we're doing better, we can up the spending, and this is where this projector is so good.
Yeah, that's right. And I was going to highlight that, spending 85,000 every year, not reducing as well. So again, those things will impact. They may decide that they get bored retiring at age 55 and do some part-time work. That all makes a huge difference. And of course, is there some inheritance down the line as well? But basing it on their own merit and those figures, that $1 million mark is there.
So we've done the shown what inheritance and how we'd factor in for inheritance. But let's say we factored in you worked 2 more years.
Yeah.
So it was age 57, not 55. Now, in an AFL terms or sport terms in general, I call that in AFL terms, the 12-point turnaround. That easy goal that was missed, 10 seconds later is down the other end and a goal is kicked, the 12-point turnaround. So what I mean by that is, for each year that you work extra, that is an extra year that you're not saving 71 grand and not spending 85.
Yeah.
So if we add 2 more years to that, so we go from 55 to age 57, if we can now just focus on where my cursor is and check how substantially these numbers change. It's monstrous.
Yeah, that's right.
Huge.
Yeah, so many, as we say, there's so many variations, and that's why these are so valuable, these projections, and the ability to do them in real time and often is certainly powerful, because there's so much that can change so quickly.
As we've always said, that quite often, that it's these conversations, these projections that are the aha moment for our clients, where they go, "Oh, I'm there. We've made it. We're safe."
Yeah, and makes it real rather than just a chart or returns on a report. It's actually their lifestyle and what they're wanting to achieve as well.
And it's interesting to note that when I first started using this, and I said this is over a decade ago, that I thought I'd be using it and setting up spending policies to tell people to stop spending. I think that's happened for 2 clients that we can remember, Rach, where we've put a spending policy. For the most part, I've used it to encourage people to spend more, to have more fun early on in their retirement while they have health.
Yeah, and I think that's as we know, that's the important part, getting that balance right, knowing when to spend, to reduce those regrets.
Yeah, make memories, reduce regret. One more, please, Rach.
Okay, this person, what's that?
I was wondering, do we go for the couple that are 67 and that have quite modest living and own their own home?
Yeah, okay, so 67.
So work through to 67, and these are not big spenders, Rach.
No, they're not. So we'll base them on the 45,000.
Oh, Centrelink will do that for them. They won't need any money.
Sorry. Yeah, true. They won't need any money at all.
No, because
they won't be 46.
Modest. So 53, which is still modest. Should we be a little bit more
Let's be
generous?
generous.
56. And we do have people, I know there'll be people saying, how on earth are they doing that? We have clients that have clients live on far less than that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they're retired, so there's no contribution savings, and we'll put in 650 there. I'm going to have just to make some changes just to make the graph look a bit better. Yeah, so we can see here that it's all about a straight line, and that at age 83, they started off with 650 and it's gone down a bit, but not by much. And the reason for that, obviously you don't get the full pension at age, when you've got 650,000. I'll just check that I've made the adjustments there. Yes, I have, and they're homeowners. You can see that it's not the full age pension, but under the base case, it's going up. And under the pessimistic, it goes up faster because there's not as much money there. So at age 83, when they go from being a couple to a single, that is 400 grand, knowing that that'll 90% chance it'll be above that number. This is where we can encourage people to perhaps spend a bit more.
Yeah, definitely one of those scenarios.
Yeah, obviously people don't need to. So if we add $5,000 to that, what sort of difference does it make? It makes a difference, but there's still plenty left. So this is where we might say, well, what trips would you like to do? And they might say, well, look, we're not international travellers, but we would like to go to Queensland or Tasmania and that'll cost 15,000. We'd like to do that every second year because we're listening to you, Rob and Rach. We want to build memories to reduce regret when they hit old age. So we've got every second year while they're young enough for $15,000 local holidays. And it makes a difference, but not much.
No, that's right. And that's, the unknown, isn't it? You may be thinking about retirement and this massive figure, and that you have to be stingy, whereas that just shows that, you can afford those extra things that you have on your want list but wouldn't dare to dream. So I think that's really important. And a lot of the conversations we have around is to what's important to people is spending time with their family. So it might be their kids and their grandkids. So it's saying, okay, well, be generous if you're going out for dinner. Maybe you want to shout if it means everyone gets together, or a weekend away locally or something like that. So it can also, show that you can afford to be generous, to get everyone together if that's what it means.
Help when mum and dad are paying, kids will turn up. And what do we want as we get older, Rach? I definitely know
Family,
with myself that you want more time with our family. And that I'm sure that only increases as we get older, whilst doing some fun stuff as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously now someone might be thinking, well, okay, Rob, but I'm going to need to upgrade a car at age 70. Last car we might buy, and that'll cost $35,000. Can they do it? And so I've just put in 35 grand extra there. Yep, at age 83, there's going to be more than likely 90% chance above 250 grand. That'll be enough, to see the last person through.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, we've covered off a few different scenarios today.
You're back.
Which is good.
Cool. So by all means, Rach and I would be more than comfortable if people jump into the comments on any of the platforms that you're listening and or watching this, that if you've got some random scenarios that you'd like us to project for you, we can do that, and we can bundle a number up in one episode. But as I've always bored people that we need to project, that we need to prove what we're doing for our clients and that strategies can work.
Yeah, absolutely. Very
Fantastic.
good.
Thanks, Rach. Now, where can
Thanks,
people
Rob.
find you if they would like to be educated a bit more?
Yeah, so Instagram or TikTok under Rach Todman. And you, Rob?
Rob Goudie on TikTok, and might be Rob Goudie Financial Advice on Instagram. And obviously, Investor Motivation is our YouTube channel, which I am pretty proud of because it's been a labour of love since 2012, and there is 800 plus videos there. So there's, and it is all education based. This is strategy. This is not sales pitch at all. It's about increasing people's knowledge to make informed financial decisions.
Yeah. And again, thank you everyone for the comments on the video we spoke about. Really appreciate it. Helps us grow and create better content. So yeah, keep giving us feedback. And yeah, we'll keep trying.
Cool. Thanks, Rach. Thanks
Cool.
everyone for
Thanks,
listening.
Rob. See ya.
Bye.